Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Forton with Michigan Matters, and we have a very special guest here today, uh, Michael Pratt. And I'll introduce him in just a moment. But what gave me the idea, I mean, I've been blessed knowing Michael for many years, and he's a cattle grower in St. Clair County. And recently, the DOJ announced the antitrust probe of major meat packers over beef prices. And I thought it'd be a perfect time because we've been wanting to bring Michael on talking about these things anyway. And I thought it'd be a perfect time. So, Michael is the president of the St. Clair County Farm Bureau and chair of their policy committee. He's also president of the Michigan Cattlemen and chair of their policy committee. And he's also Michigan Farm Bureau Livestock Advisory Committee. He's on that committee too. So anyway, Michael, welcome. And
Well, it's good to see you again, Mark. So don't
yep,
look like you're chasing chickens today, so it's good. So
chickens.
yeah, you're four-legged chicken. I didn't see
Oh,
you chasing that down the road today, so you're good.
I
So
remember one time we were out to lunch years ago and you chewed me out because I ordered a chicken sandwich.
that's right. You only eat beef when you're with me. So you can ask all the organizations when I go to meetings what I complain about. So
Amen. So anyway, but it's getting harder and harder for people across the country to eat beef. And I think a lot of it is with the DOJ's investigating this monopoly. Teddy Roosevelt was against monopolies and he did a whole lot for America, but somehow over the years, we got monopolies everywhere again. We got a lot monopolies on electric, monopolies on this, monopolies on that, and we're paying for it. The farmers are paying for it. Consumers are paying for it. So I don't know where you'd like to start. You'd like to start talking
well,
about this DOJ announcement, or we got
well,
other subjects here too?
they got a long ways to go. This has been an issue for a long time because the four major packers process 85% of the beef or so, but uh, I don't know where that's going to go or if that's going to help us, but we really need to do more in the line of getting smaller processors landed all over the country. Because I'm a cow calf guy, and I take them from birth all the way to finish here at our farm, and then we take and have them processed and we sell them to consumers direct. So we direct market all our beef, which works really, really well. I mean, I got a list. I got the calves that are being born this year already sold for next year. So marketing wise, that makes it real simple on my behalf. So we need to focus more on that stuff. Like I think in every county there should be a processor so your people can go buy beef right off their counter in that processing plate. So they're not being shipped all over the country. A lot of the calves that go to the stockyards here, I think Marlette's the closest one to me now. They'll go to the west side of the state, or a lot of them go to Joliet, Indiana, Illinois, there to get processed, and then they come back here to the grocery stores.
Mm,
And everybody would rather buy consumer direct so you could see what you're buying. It's a
yes.
lot fresher that way. And the fat's good for you in it, as you guys will see pretty quick here, but it's RFK there really has done a great job of turning that around. I think the whole Trump administration is really working for us. We need different. The prices are just getting sustainable for the farmers that a lot of people don't understand. I hear a lot of the high beef prices, but this is about where it needs to be if you're going to get the next generation to farm. Uh, People have to realize how difficult it is because we have to buy everything we consume as retail, and then everything we sell is wholesale. So it's reversed from every other business model in the
Yep.
world. They're telling us what we're going to pay and they're going to tell us what they're going to give for us. So I worked my whole life at changing that philosophy. uh, I still got to buy everything retail. I can't find a way around that, but I am retailing the cuts of meat off my farm, which helps it dramatically. And my prices haven't went up much, but I know consumers complain they see it really go up in the stores, but that is on them big packers have kind of created that. And the demand for hamburger today now is way ahead of the other cuts now. So all that's going to change. Price of hamburger is going to keep going up because everybody wants to save a little. But if they go direct to the farm and buy it, they're way better off, and the drastic differences isn't that high. There is other issues to hand, and of course, when you buy farm direct, you're not getting any of that pink slime in your hamburger. And the only reason they put that in there in all reality is to try to keep it looking pretty on the shelf. It's out there in display. And if they used LED lights, it wouldn't darken the meat. It's the ultraviolet that's changing the color of that meat. So they put that pink slime in there to try to dress it up. And, which is, I'm not sure of its contents, but it's a chloride and salt-based product, which, their doctors all tell all of us we don't need any more salt in our diets. But so there is places they're looking to try to do more for small processors to get them off the ground. We have had a few of them in Michigan get started. But to get more to do it, you got to be able to butcher 30 head a week and make a living. And, instead, I don't want to see, these ones that are doing 3,000 a day. We don't need any more of them.
That's right. That's right. I think that I watched the DOJ news briefing, I guess you'd call it. It was like about 30 some minutes, maybe 40 minutes. And they were talking about the fact that we need a whole lot more processors, smaller processors all over the country. And it sounds like that's going to be a goal of the administration. So if we had that should increase, it should help with pricing a little bit, don't you think? But it also help with quality where we got real food for change.
Yes, because, like even small farms, they're better than big ones because there's a touch relationship, I mean, you know me, so you come here and buy your beef because you know me, and because I know you, I want to sell you the safest product we have, So when they get too big and you get all these people working in there that don't give two hoots about anybody or anything, or we get all these illegal immigrants in these plants, I mean, when you you hear the ICE agents coming to go check out these plants, they don't have anybody show up for work, So when's that going to stop and put all our Americans back to work? It's I know they all tell me they don't want to work, but if they get hungry, they'll want to work. I enjoy working, I mean. Yeah.
And I read an article a long time ago, a number of years ago, maybe you remember it, about Tyson Foods, where it was about, I hate to say the word to you, chickens. But anyway, it was about chicken processing, because I guess Tyson's really super big into chicken, I guess. But anyway, that the people working in their plants were making $20-some an hour, but they got rid of all of them. They got illegal aliens.
Yeah.
Or I should say aliens, maybe not illegal, I don't know. But they replaced all their American labor, getting paid good. See, Americans will work. Americans have bills. Okay, they have taxes, they got bills. They can't work for $5 an hour like illegals can. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah. So they live the whole rest, they can only work here 9 months and they got to go back home for 3. So, that's our great system. So they take all that money. There's 10 families living in one little house, and and they take all that money back to Mexico or wherever they're from, and then they live like kings for 3 months down there, and they come back here and work for the summer.
So Tyson gets rid of their Americans, okay, and the price of chicken didn't go down. They didn't lower the price of chicken, so the consumer's still paying the price, but they're no longer providing families for Americans either. I mean, what a stinking mess that. And our government has been allowing this. In fact, Navarro, in this DOJ thing that I watched today, this news briefing, he said how there's four major beef
Packers.
providers, whatever.
Packers. Yeah.
Processors, that's right.
Processors.
There's four of them. Two of them are from Brazil, and the ones from Brazil are paying our stinking politicians. So they're on the take, all of them. I mean, both our Republicans and Democrats make me sick. Not to get off the subject, but they won't pass the SAVE Act because they know the American people want it. Both sides. They're not doing anything for the American people whatsoever. They've allowed this to happen. They've allowed these monopolies to exist. They've screwed over the farmers and the producers and the customers for decades now, and they're all paid to do it. None of them care about us. Very few, and it's sickening.
And they're it's warfare against the American people. These these foreign owned entities. We got to stop it. Brazil shouldn't own anything here. China shouldn't own anything here. Let American people own it. We don't need competition from other countries, and then our schools go train these other countries how to grow stuff as good as we do. And yet us American farmers paid for all that research and development. And it's in the chemical industry and every business you look at, the drugs that you got to take for your blood pressure, Mark, to keep it down. I mean, they come from China, but we paid for the research and development of that out of our tax dollars and what we paid for medicine years ago, and then they hand it off over there, and they can make it cheaper. Well, sure, because they're not having to pay for the research and development,
That's right.
So, we already did that. So why aren't we getting the drugs cheaper? It's pretty simple. And that's what I like about Trump. He seems to understand that, for the most part. And, so.
He's in China now, and hopefully we'll see some good results out of this meeting. But also, I noticed in the Farm Journal, since we're talking about foreign own this, foreign own that, and foreign influence, the Farm Journal, the Scoop, which I guess is a podcast, I guess?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I get an email, but I just skim through the highlights and look for something that I want to see,
Yeah, so they're talking about this is going to be our smallest wheat harvest since '72.
Yep.
We used to feed the world. And do you remember, we're talking about beef prices and other prices, whether it's corn or whatever, of agricultural stuff in general.
Yeah.
I remember, of course, now I'm a little older than you, but I remember
by a month or two. Yeah.
Maybe 3. Anyway, I remember I was in grade school in the 50s. And I remember we had what we called in the 1950s, we had something they called education.
Yep.
And we, in 12 years of school, we learned things like geography. We learned all kinds of stuff, which today they can't seem to teach anything except socialism.
Right.
However, I remember they had a chart. I'll never forget this. It was in all the books, and it was, how do I describe this? It was like in 1948, how many hours you work for a dozen eggs or a pound of butter. Remember that?
Yep. It's like
in 1955, in 1960. I mean, it was perpetually less and less. Americans were paying less and less and less because we were more and more productive. We were Americans. Americans were providing for Americans. And you worked less as the time went by for basic products like bread and eggs and butter and milk and beef. And then they bragged on it.
Yeah.
But our politicians have allowed this to topsy-turvy, have allowed all this to be the way it is. And unfortunately, kids in school are taught nothing. You and I talked about education over the years quite a bit. About, I remember one time you were telling me about a school, I think in St. Clair County, that was called an agricultural school or something.
Yeah, but there's FFA and KPAC that teaches all that stuff. Yep, and it needs to be taught in every school, not just
and you pressured them to raise chickens.
Yep.
An egg school pressured them to raise chickens from eggs all the way through the process so they learn where we get our food. And they
Yep.
blocked you 110%,
Yep.
not wanting the kids to know where our foods come from.
Well, and they should be. All schools should be teaching that. I go talk in front of some of these schools, to try to get them to understand. And even though I'm a beef guy, I'd rather they're raising calves out there in the backyard. But chickens will do the job because they're cheap,
Mhm.
and not quite as good a protein, but they're okay, But you could hatch an egg, let the chicken go through its life cycle there, and build a little greenhouse, start raising some tomatoes and lettuce and different stuff to put on a salad or so, and with a little bit of timing, and don't take a lot of work to set that up so the chickens are ready to be processed the same time all the garden stuff's ready to harvest, and make a meal for the whole school. Have the kids in that classroom provide a meal for the whole school on one day,
Yep.
and it's quite gratifying to be able to feed people, believe it or not. I mean, that's why farmers work for 50 cents an hour, because the gratification you get from doing the work. I
Yep.
mean, I love listening to people when they come and buy a couple steaks and a few pounds of hamburger, how good my steak burger is. I mean, it is really a gratifying thing when you're doing a great job. And these kids need to feel that, because that would change it. There's nothing wrong with every kid having 10 chickens at home. I fight
Mhm.
for that all the time.
Mhm.
Our dog catchers are trying to stop anybody from having chickens or having a pig. Or no, our constitution allows you to have that stuff. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
the world's went off the rails. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong, and the dog catcher ain't even good at managing dogs and cats. Why should they have authority over livestock? Because by law they don't, but yet, in your county they seem to think they do. Especially we put the stake in their hearts in St. Clair County Thursday night, so we stopped it over here. But your county needs a little work yet,. But we'll get after them.
Mhm. Yep.
But there's a lot of things like that the kids could really learn so much from. Instead of, what do we need farmers for? You just go to the grocery store and get your food. I mean,
I know.
it's a real thing. They don't understand that it's raised here and that they get it there. And I'm
No.
not sure if the people that own the grocery store know, because they call the IGA or Spartan or whoever that feeds that store. They just order what they want. They don't have no connection to it either. And it's sad that we don't see all that in today's world.
We've been so separated from the real life. We
Yeah.
really have. We really have.
Well,
But this farm journal thing, they mentioned a couple of things like the Chinese, this and that, how they've been stealing our technology. Like we kind
oh
of
yeah.
touched on it with medicine, how we do the research and they get the benefits and we have to buy from them and we're subject to them. And all this idea of China owning so much farmland and foreign countries in general. There should not be a Brazilian meat packer in America. There should not be Chinese farmland in America. And this stuff's, and it all goes on the back, in my mind, it goes on the back of the United States Congress. They are the
Sure.
ones that have been sold out to foreign entities, traitors to this country, allowing all this to happen. And and I really thank God for President Trump. I mean, he's all alone out there, and doing the work, really trying to make things better. So you feel pretty strongly that that the DOJ is on the right track, at least attempting to do something real.
Yeah, they're going to track that down and see what other kind of stuff all them foreign owners are in. I mean, it's no different than peddling drugs here, you know, as when they take over the meat markets. We don't want foreign ownership of any food or any of our medication for
No.
sure. We have to find a way to bring that all back to US owned.
Mhm.
And I mean, I like to go even a step farther. You got to be natural born citizen to be a part of that.
Amen.
I think you should have to be to serve in Congress or
Amen.
anywhere.
Me too.
It's uh, they're only, you shouldn't be able to have dual citizenship at the very minimum. I mean, we had a governor here in our state that had dual citizenship. I'm still not sure what side of the fence she's really on.
That's right.
And she spends all her time in California now. So,
True.
and,
Very true.
but, she wasn't for Michigan, and we got to find people that are for Michigan, for Macomb County, for St. Clair County. I mean, our county's got to stick up for us too, and we seem to be slipping at that as well.
That's right.
Let's stick up for us. What's wrong with us? I mean, why can't we be on top of the world? We were in the 70s.
We were.
Yep. I think Nixon might have sold us out, but I don't know who it was for sure. I was a little young, but in 1978, I was in Washington D.C. with my tractor blocking the White House, but then that changed. That's how we got Ronald Reagan, was because of that uprising. I mean, that really caught the world's attention, and now they're doing it in all these foreign countries. That is going on. The farmers are spreading loads of manure right on their capitals, and
because this is a global thing. They're trying to destroy agriculture in every country, because what they want is data centers, and they want manufacturers that are creating meat.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They don't want natural anything.
It'll grow in a petri dish. That's got to be the best there is when it's in a petri dish, right?
Yeah, right. That's right. It'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Just have a barn with a whole bunch of petri dishes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Really drip in there. Yeah. And and that's what I tell everybody. Beef's got one ingredient in it. And that's what people need to look for when you're going to the grocery store. If you can't read a word on that label for what its ingredients are, put it back.
Yep. Amen. Amen. Poisoning everybody.
Yeah.
So do you think, because we probably should wrap, because I got to have you on again. We got to keep up with all this. Now, do you think that it's possible, because you know more about the economics of it all, okay?
Yeah.
If we could slowly return to where we were, where there's no foreign interest in agriculture, whether it's watermelons or beef,
right.
You know what I mean? That it's like it was in the 50s, where we were saying how long you worked for a pound of butter. If we could get back to that kind of thing, do you think prices would go down if we had the way it was, with all kinds of processors, all kinds of this and that, farmers?
No, because what's going to happen is, like where the prices are now, farms are just starting to get sustainable, and that's in beef and maybe in watermelons. But we're still, we're still receiving a real low price for some of that stuff. So beef prices are just getting where it's sustainable now. When you look at the live market prices, and what feeder calf prices are, even though I don't sell into those markets, but we have to find a way for guys to be able to make a living. Just about everybody farming now is one person in the family has got an off the farm job. That's got to stop, because you can do a lot better quality job farming if you were both at home.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife is as good as I am, if not better, on the farm, and I need her here, but nope, she's got to work off the farm. I got to work part-time off the farm to try to keep everything floating, but it shouldn't be that way.
I forgot about that, because, I worked for over 30 years at Chrysler.
Sure.
I retired from Chrysler. I left Chrysler in 2000.
Yep.
So that's a while ago.
Yep.
Now, when I worked there was a lot of guys I knew that were farmers working at Chrysler full time.
Yep. And it's almost wrong. I mean, you can't stop it because you have to survive, but you can't make any money farming anymore. I mean, guys planting corn and soybeans since 2019 have been lucky to break even. This year, they're going to go backwards. Fertilizer is almost as high as it's ever been. And maybe they can say it's because of the Iran war, but this is still Biden economics coming to haunt us. No question. This the new world screwworm that's you hear so much on the news about trying to invade Texas, which is going to come all the way to Michigan. When we get a strong south wind, they'll be in the wind and carrying here. Them are in Mexico because of Biden. The open door policy of that administration allowed those people from South America, when they left, they pack up, they take their livestock with them. So they were walking their cows and horses and pigs into Mexico. It wasn't that they were letting them, they were sneaking in there too, all over the borders. And it's a crazy, crazy scenario, what's going on. And I don't get why it's all so acceptable. And even the Trump administration hasn't really got critical on Biden about that. How many other causes? There's probably a lot of unknown things that have happened here. These Chinese were bringing right here at U of M, we're bringing diseases into there to release for our crops.
That's right.
And it's so funny. We keep getting these weeds that show up and are already Roundup resistant, and of course they paint Roundup as a bad thing, but that's the only thing that saved agriculture for the last 25 years, or would already all been broke. But they've already got these resistant plants, and we've never seen them here before. Well,
they're probably engineered in China. They're probably not natural plants. They're probably engineered.
No. They're not natural to here. It's like, we got these gray wolves here. We got this coy wolf here. And we've seen them on our farm, and the DNR will tell you, no, they're not in Michigan. Well, I've seen them. You ain't going to tell me what I see in my eyes isn't real. These black vultures, and last year they killed 3 calves, the black vultures here, because they go pick their eyes out just as they're born. It's and we never had black vultures. I only seen 1 or 2 red-headed vultures, or what they call a turkey vulture ever in my life. Now we're got an influx of them. We got all these sandhill cranes. I mean, there's deer. The deer is just unbelievable. The DNR's telling me that we got to kill 800,000 of them in Michigan just to put our deer herd back in check. 5-6 years ago, they were giving some guy in Lansing an award for doing such a great job of growing our deer population.
Yeah, right.
I got to get the car insurance companies off their duff to help me. I mean, I'd like to know the statistics of how many more deer car crashes there are.
Oh yeah.
Than there was 10 years ago too, or 20.
Thousands and thousands.
Yeah, it's crazy, and you don't hear nothing about it because they can just pass that cost on to you. That's why your insurance premiums are the way it is. Well, it happens. Yeah. And now it costs $25,000 to fix what was $2,500 10 years ago.
They can't fix it because they're on the take for the insurance companies.
Yeah,
they're on the take for everybody.
Yeah,
you and me, except the citizens that live in this state and this nation aren't represented, but every Tom, Dick, and Harry is.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got to do this again.
And whenever you call, Mark, I'll be here.
I want to talk about other things the next time we get together, like land use, things like that.
Right. Yep.
But anyway,
we sure can't have these data centers keep taking farmland. Put them in Detroit. There's plenty of vacant buildings down there. Put the solar panels on the roofs down there.
That's right.
Put them on the lawn of the Capitol in Lansing. I mean, nobody's on the grass out there anymore. You get a ticket.
But part of the plan is to tear up the farmland.
Right.
Farmland. It's all planned.
And it's taxpayers' dollars paying for them solar panels, not Edison. They're not buying them. They're getting funding for that, but we got to work at getting that stopped. They got to quit spending our tax dollars on useless projects that don't work, and they're polluters. They pollute the land, so them wind turbines too, I mean, it's crazy. They're everywhere. You can't look at the pretty sky anymore because you see a wind turbine blowing up there. So
I know. It's windy.
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to thank you until we can do this again. We'll have to do it in the near future. But I want to thank you for being with us, and thanks for your insights and everything, because people have got to learn the importance of our food supply. And like the DOJ says, and Trump believes that it is a national security issue.
It is.
And thanks for being with us, Mike. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Mark, for having me, and keep being the number one guy down there in Macomb County for me. So we got to have somebody for us. So
Okay. I
all
will.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye
All
now.
right. Bye.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being with us. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Go to michiganmatters.org and our website, see what's going on, and you can contribute too if you would to help us keep this going. But I want to thank you very much. I hope you all had a great Mother's Day this last week, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.